Right, the earlier game was the Brisbane Broncos and the Dolphins, and the Ashley and Martin turning point was a big one. It was Reece Walsh and his 40-20, which really turned this game on its head.
It turned it on its head and put the Broncos on top, because down 28-14 in the 51st minute, Reece Walsh has absolutely nailed a 40-20, and he is pumped up. That was one of the diamonds that he produced tonight. Off the back of that, the Broncos went on to 4 unanswered tries. Mariner, Karapani, Tulti, Staggs, and what was 28-14 down quickly became 38-28 victory, and Reece Walsh takes a lot of credit for that turning point.
Yeah, the Reece Walsh, I always thought it was going to be with no Reynolds, no Ma'am.
Did you teach Billy Walters that kick, Kev?
Yeah, that's backyard at the back fence, just repetition after repetition.
You would have broken a window, right?
I wouldn't have kicked. I wouldn't have thought to have kicked there. But yeah, well, they scored some great tries, the Broncos. And Reece Walsh, if the Broncos were going to win or have any chance of winning, it was going to be coming down to a lot of his work. With all due respect to all the other players, but he's that sort of player that can really change games. And I felt that when those bigger names were missing, he would have seen it upon himself to stand up, and he certainly did that.
Let's hear from his coach, Michael Maguire, and his captain, Pat Carrigan.
Yeah, it was a beauty. I felt that the boys, they grew. They've been growing, I guess, over the last sort of, 4 or 5 games in how we want to play, and they stuck to it, which I was really pleased with, the way. So, we sort of come out at half-time and didn't get the start we liked, but they stayed at it, and you could see the connections between the boys was pretty strong about how we wanted to play, and they found their way back into the game, and they were able to do the job.
Reece was special tonight. His second half just absolutely unbelievable. And that 40-20, you talk about changing momentum, Paddy, that was sort of kick-started where you guys were from that 40-20.
Yeah, that was a massive play. I thought tonight he really got the balance right. He's done some really special things for him, but at the end of the day, we just need Reece Walsh to be Reece Walsh. And, he was actually really calm out there, talking really well to the boys, and I think that instilled a lot of confidence in him. But, yeah, that was a big play.
Well, I guess at the start of the week, we just spoke about the players that we're bringing in. We're fortunate to have those guys, and it's the next man up, as we talk about, and they did their jobs tonight. That's the key, and we sort of talked about each individual, and Reece played his part, and the 2 centres played. Tony was excellent. He picked his moments. So I guess as a team, I really feel that we're moving in the right direction of what we've been speaking about for a while.
Yes, Wizard Walsh. Coops, he definitely had his magic wand out tonight.
I can't argue with that headline, because he was terrific. He had some really class touches, a combination with Tony Staggs, that 40-20 try assist, running the ball. But Isaiah, you picked up a couple of moments there he was dialed in to start with, where his kick returns were physical back in the teeth, and he set the game up there, didn't he?
Yeah, they were. I think his first touch, he was over the ad line, really direct, trying to dive in behind the markers and A. And I just felt when he's doing that, and he's at his best. So I thought he sort of showed throughout the whole game. He didn't overplay his hand at all. He took opportunities when they arose, and came up with some really big plays.
He's bouncing around, Kevy, wasn't he? And every time he touched it, he looked like he was a threat.
Well, there's no strapping on there from what I can see, and that was off. So he has had some trouble with that knee of his. It's been sort of giving him a bit of grief. But tonight he was running free, and just the player that we all have seen him in different stages, but tonight he put it all together in a good game of footy.
Where do we have the Broncos? We talk about the Broncos. We've spoken about them all year. They've been up and down, but have found some consistency at the back end of this season. Are they the real deal? Are they a chance of winning the competition? Where do they sit, Coops?
They need Adam Reynolds and Ezra Ram to come back in. I'm not sure what their health is like, if that's a possibility. The other thing the Brisbane Broncos need to do is they need to be able to beat the Melbourne Storm. For last week's game, they were there for the first 20 minutes. Then their halves went down. They've got the ingredients, Walsh, Carrigan, Haas, a few other players there. I think Tony Staggs is playing some really good footy, but they need to start putting it together quick, and to be able to beat his team and the Melbourne Storm, that's where it sits.
Well, they're only 1 point behind the Panthers now, and they jump back over Cronulla, who had taken their spot, Kev. How do you see them at the moment?
Yeah, well, again, it's a bit of the unknown. Look, we know their talent. So if they can get their talent playing all together, we know that that's a dangerous footy side.
Yeah.
So, but they've got to be able to do that. Penrith and the Storm have shown us that they can do it. I think the Roosters the other night on their performance. So there's 3 competition rounds left. Plenty of footy to go yet, boys.